Hello, everyone. Firstly, would like to welcome all of you in the exclusive webinar of Machine Maker on the topic of how your digital footprint can multifold lead funnel, which means that how a digital platforms can be helpful for lead generation. So, firstly, would like to welcome the lead speaker for this session, Mr. Muthu Shekhar sir, our product manager Pooja Rashankar, our managing editor Mr. Harishankar sir, our whole team, and the participants for this webinar. So to start with, I will introduce myself. I'm Sharvari and I work in the outreach in this organization. Then I would like to introduce Mr. Muthu Shekhar sir. He is the industry expert and a technical consultant in the mechanical industry. He have 20 plus years of experience in the field of management with 30 plus years of sales and marketing business development experience. He was a managing director of a German MNC called Nord Drive Systems Private Limited. In his 10 years of experience of working in the industry, he has contributed and helped the company to grow worldwide, which helped the company a lot throughout. He was also managing some big name companies like Bofiglioni, Siemens, Kirloskar Pneumatics, etc. He has been a speaker in international forums as well as panels discussions. So he's our keynote speaker for today's session. So would like to proceed with Mr. Muthu Shekhar sir's keynote speech and discussions for this session. Sir, please.
Thank you, Sharvari. Thank you, Machine Maker and Hari, for giving me an opportunity on giving a keynote speech on digital footprint, how it can lead to multifold in terms of success for business. First of all, I'm not a domain expert, but I will come to the subject that how a domain expert and the digital expert needs to work together. So that's the way I will start the discussions. Before going, I will talk about what's the kind of digital penetration has happened in India, and particularly in the recent years. If you look at India's penetration of internet has gone up by 45%, and that too in the last few years, thanks to COVID. I think one of the positive things, not the COVID positive I'm talking about, but the positive things which has happened during the COVID times is the digital footprint. Digital penetration has increased. Internet penetration I'm talking about, and we are also talking about how the mobile phone increase, the smartphone increase has happened during this period. So some statistics I have. It was 4% of internet in India during 2007, and today we are almost close to 50%, or probably by this time we would have even crossed 50%. So that shows how much increase of internet use happening in India. And also you should also not forget that India is a low income capita country, per capita low income country. So with this per capita low income country and being a population of 1.4 billion, if we have such a resounding success, I think this is amazing, and this will keep going. And this will also lead to the topic what we are talking today. Coming to the digitalization needs domain experts. Basically, the digital experts are needed. Of course, plus the non-domain from the digital is also needed. Like for example, you can teach a metallurgist a data science, but you cannot teach a data scientist a metallurgist. I think now you understand the difference. So, like for example, a doctor can be a good internet savvy person, or a doctor can be a good digital use person, but a digital expert cannot become a doctor. So that's what I'm talking, that how a domain expert, like for example, I come from an industry engineering, and that's where I learned this in terms of digital marketing and how to use and how successfully you can get benefits, which I have practically done in my previous last 10 years in the organization where I worked. Digital is reshaping the markets exponentially. you can see the cascading effects of digital in every area of business, consumer acquisition, whether it's a platform business or whether it's an investment business, whether the business models and a whole new situation are happening when the digital footprints are, taken care. Like, for example, I can give you one area where the business has really happened only through internet and digital marketing. I don't know whether how many people you know this. Licious. Licious is a meat selling company. Today, that company is doing close to around 1,080 crores. In the last 1 year, the turnover has increased only due to the digital marketing. And there are many other examples. But before going into that, we also should know certain other statistics that in India, the average spend on the smartphones, on the screens and gadgets is 7 hours. That is phenomenal. 7 hours we all spend in fact, I spend about 4 hours on the screen, and that's what my iPhone and my iPad shows that you spend about 4 hours in a day. So average is 7 hours we are spending on the screen. So if we are spending average 7 hours, and the more and more usage which is happening in the more phones are coming or more iPads are coming, or the internet the depth is increasing, then what will happen is this 7 hours will go even for more 8 or 9 hours. So then the only possibility is digital marketing, using digital as a tool for getting leads, and through these leads businesses will happen. I don't know how many people are aware that what is the marketing expenses or marketing percentage being done in digital. I don't know anybody having a clue. Maybe they can type on the side of the chat box. It will be very interesting for me also to know, but I have some statistics I will tell you. Global advertising is 3.3% happening through cinema. TV is through 30%. Print media is 10%. Radio media is 5%. Outdoor media is 6%. Digital, any guesses? I am not seeing anything on the chat box. It's more than 40% is the digital media. I think that's the point of topic which we are discussing today. And I talked of digital is reshaping the markets exponentially, and leadership should come out of the physical era. I think that is what needed. The leaders should come out of the physical era. They should get into the some kind of a digital usage and digital mode. There are some legacies, some areas where we will not be able to digitalization in when it comes to machines, when it comes to older generation machines. Like, for example, for an ambassador car, you cannot have a chip and you cannot have a digital reading, or maybe you can do some small conversions. You can have some, instead of analog meter, you can go for a digital meter. So for the old legacy machines which we are using in the industry, some kind of digital level of penetration can happen. So what I want to talk further is digital funneling needs to understood by the senior management. I think that's the key. If the senior management understands that digital funneling helps in terms of sales, in terms of leads, and for a large country like India, we need to have a usage of digital. This is going to help us a lot. The reason being is you cannot cover your marketing and your sales pitch for the entire large country by a lot of tours and travels and go to nook and corner of India. The best possible is use the digital media, and India is already very successful in terms of usage of internet, usage of smartphones. We stand number 2 in the world. The first is US in terms of having more number of smartphones, more number of digital usage. So second comes India, and we rank somewhere around 49%. So the numbers are very encouraging, and this will definitely help us for going further on the digitalization and increasing our sales. Thank you very much again, and anything further which we can discuss during the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muthusekhar sir. It was amazing listening your thoughts on the topic, and it will definitely help us to for this topic. So
Yeah.
next is Miss Pooja Rashinkar, who is a product manager to our organization. She is also into communications and marketing. Her skills are really helping our organizations to grow. So I would also like to invite her and put forward her thought on the topic. So Pooja, please.
Thank you, Sharvari, for introducing me so well. I, like Sir said, I would just want to carry forward. I 100% agree with what you said, Sir. It is, the digital platform has taken a, like a hike when it comes to users. It has definitely taken a rise, mostly because of the pandemic that acted, very strongly for it went from us doing our work to just everybody suddenly going home to a composed shell where the only source of entertainment or the only source of work to get done was, our dependency on digital platforms was just our phone. Like you said, you use your phones, your iPads, which tell you your time.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think during the pandemic, my screen time would just go to up to 11 hours. That's just
Oh.
way too much. So I think that is the time when all of us, just went for digital, even be it using the devices, be it for entertainment purposes, for work purposes, everything. So I think it just took a rise. I agree with you completely.
Pooja, if you look at the internet first brands, they call it as IFB, Internet First Brands. That means, the brands which have done business only through internet, only through digital media. Like, I talked of Licious,
Yes.
in terms of what they're selling meat. There are some other companies like Rebel Foods. They did a business of 560 crore last year. Then Uziva, they did a business of 120 crores. Then First Cry, this for the babies and children. First Cry, they did a business of 2,100 crores in 1 year, only using internet. And Wake Fit, they did about 260 crores. Beardo, men grooming, they did
Yes.
about 80 crores. I think we all know the Nike, that did about 2,000 crores. Then
Yes.
Mama Earth did about 109 crores. So these are all the data which talks of a company which is unicorn, which started very recently, maybe 1 year. They don't have a big history, but they have used the digital marketing and they have been quite successful, and they are leading in terms of showing others the guiding path.
Right. With all the brands that you said, I think I've closely followed a lot of them from the initial stages, understanding, oh, this is a new brand, neglecting it in the beginning before the rise of all of this. And then suddenly wanting to, try and get products from these brands is what I have experienced throughout, because somewhere I have also donated to the 2,000 crores that Nika has made.
Okay.
So I think, that is the process of, the rise eventually. I think just beginning to do these campaigns, beginning to put this awareness right outside to the world, where, this should not just be looked upon, like not looked down upon rather, because it is at some point harmful, but at the same time, it is so informative. Digital platforms are a way of, earning. It is a way of bringing so many good things. It is supporting businesses in multiple ways, but then there is a small community which also says that it is not good, which, me being from the industry, I do not stand for.
No, see, coin has, I always say, three sides. Coin doesn't have two sides because
Right.
circumference is also one side. So, like that, if you look at, there are flips and flaps in digitalization, in using more internet, all that, using computers, using laptops, or using your iPhone. But we should take the positiveness of it. Like, for example, today being a World Earth Day, I
Yes.
was not knowing it all my years. So many years, I never knew that today is a World Earth Day. But only through a WhatsApp University, I am able to understand that today is a World Earth Day. So I
Right.
think we need to appreciate and take the positive out of this.
Right. And I think digital platforms have become such a huge place where, where I mostly get my news. I mean, I think that I can speak for a lot of people when I just say I gather a lot of information from that, be it just Instagram also. My first instinct over the year has become through, after the pandemic, has become to first scroll through my Instagram for even starting a morning schedule. That is just a way of gathering information, knowing what's happening in the world. It's not just restricted to a particular place. It's just globally where I can get information. If something's happening around the world, I came to know about Russia and Ukraine through Instagram. As very astonishing as it is, I found out from there. I gather a lot of information which is factually based. It's not just information that is out there which does not make sense or is very irrelevant. Yes, there is, but at the same time, there is information which is very valuable.
Yes.
And what is
True.
happening in the world. So, yeah. And if you don't mind, I would just like to show a presentation that I have curated for this specific thing. So I'll just be presenting my screen.
Yeah, please.
And sir, if you have any thoughts when I will be talking about in the presentation, if you have any points to add on, please feel free to do so.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharvi, please do let me know once you're able to see my screen. Visible?
Yes, Pooja, we can see your screen.
Just a minute. Okay. Yeah. Clearly visible?
Yes, you can go ahead.
All right. So I'm just going to put this up. Yeah. So we're here to basically talk about lead generation through B2B, and how digital era has taken up a very big hike and how it has been helpful along with perks of it. So yeah, I will just be moving forward. So I want to talk about, sir, if you know, I mean, I am very new to when, yellow paper pages and magazines used to exist. I still do know about magazines. I'm really sorry for this.
You're talking of Yellow Pages?
Yes, sir.
Yellow Pages used to be my Bible,
Right.
30 years ago, 25 years ago.
Right.
So whichever hotel we go, the hotel, in the cupboard, they used to keep, today they keep Ramayana and they keep Bible, holy book.
Right.
But earlier they used to keep the Yellow Pages.
Right.
Because, you go to a new place, maybe Surat, or you go to Coimbatore,
Yes.
you go to a new place. The first thing, you do is, you open the drawer and then you see the Yellow Pages and then you start scrolling the numbers, like, which, industry you want to go and what are the phone numbers available. And then,
Right.
of course, landline. So Yellow Pages was, a lot of use during those days. I'm talking of, late 80s and early 90s.
Exactly. So for a generation that is completely different from this, from the Yellow Pages and these magazines, I still know the magazine era used to exist because I was still there then.
Okay.
But Yellow Pages was a completely different concept for me when I first started to know about it. For me, I think my era already belonged to digital. Right. So it was very astonishing for me to understand that was something that existed once a while back. And I think I would just like to, elaborate on these points when I say it actually isn't easy to remember about an age before digital, right? I mean, mostly right now, or people right now have become dependent on digital so much that it's hard for us to understand, products or ads were also printed. Not that they're not printed in magazines or newspapers right now, but they were as a ritual in the earlier times, right? So it is very difficult to remember that, for me at least. Like, products was being printed in certain papers and sold, and that was their only traditional and way of marketing back then. That was the only physical form that was accepted. Since it used for that era, I think it was very accessible, it was efficient, it was considered to be that, because there was no introduction to the era that we call digital right now. It would have been so much easier to have a phone then and show news then, show your products like on your phone. Plus, I feel like there was a lot of information that was there. There was a lot of quality information, uh, relevant information, but I think, at the same time, the way of putting that information out through the right ways to reach the right audience was a little difficult. What is your take on this? I would like to really understand your take of this, because now that you've started with explaining me Yellow Pages and how you related to this, I want to know about your take on this, sir.
Yeah, those days, information was also less, so funneling down was a little more easier.
Right.
You did not had a lot many industries. You did not had even Yellow Pages used to be, 120 pages or 200 pages for a city. But today, if you have to go for a telephone directory in a city, I think it will run into several thousand pages. Maybe
Yes.
only a robo can study it. We will not be able to study it. So today you have a lot of data coming in. Like for example, in a meeting or in an auditorium, I always say that more than number of people, the more data is available. So everybody is having one laptop, one
Right.
iPad, one mobile phone. So if you look at for one person, the amount of data what is available is much higher.
Right.
So that's where the machine maker kind of magazines, they should do a lot of connecting the dots. They should do a lot of funneling exercise. The leads can be verified, and they can give the leads very, very crisp, so that the business can flourish.
Right. So there's one more thing that I like to add, like I've written down here. Don't you think, sir, that it would have been really hard to explain to somebody what a mainframe was or what social media was back in those times of Yellow Pages?
Yes, it would have been. See, but it evolves. We also should appreciate that the same the people like for example I belong to the 19th century or something. But you look at that, you are ready to learn today. On the digital marketing, I always tell that you fill your head, and whatever tap you open. You want to open on automation, you want to open on digital marketing, you want to open on some products, the flow starts. So that means you just need to fill the tank. If you fill the tank on top, then automatically any tap will flow.
So right.
Yeah.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
I'll just move forward to how the emergence of digital platform started. And with the I think we've been a part of observing or noticing, or been a part of the history where we've witnessed technical digitalization happen through the years, which was basically creating a different forms of patterns of working. Like we went to work from home. I mean, nobody a year back ever thought that we would be doing that as a concept that we would practice for at least a year and a half. It brought up a lot of forms of work. It became very accessible. It became very efficient through digitalization, that it was just efficient for us to work from any place. Like you said, everybody now just carries a laptop or like an iPad or a phone where we can work from. Earlier it was notebooks, it was pencils, pens, but then now we walk into a place and we're good to go with getting our work done, even if it is paying off bills, entertainment purposes, anything. It has just become efficient, and I think we've noticed that through the years. And I think it is when I was actually making the presentation, that was the first time I actually found out when actually was the birth of the .com. It was not something that I expected to be so old. So would
Yes.
you like to add to this?
See, if you look at the evolvement which has happened in the .com era, and of course there have been a lot of .com failures also. So
Right.
this also we should not forget. In fact, the entire economy, took a shook when the .com companies failure happened in the 1990s and close to 2000. A lot of failures happened. But keeping that apart, I think this has evolved and brought in a lot of quality data
Right.
now, and this is helping. Like what you said is right. Today you can't even do a bank transaction, or you can't even do any payments or anything without a digital digital platform.
Right. And it's as easy as earlier walking into just a small coffee shop, or just like walking into a Starbucks would be so easy to just get a coffee, communicate one-on-one with people, or just communicate like that. But now you walk into a Starbucks, you can see everybody sitting there having a good time, enjoying their coffees, but at the same time there is a device in front of them which is helping them do their work remotely, but give the maximum productivity at the same time without sacrificing or without having to compensate at any level.
Yeah, today people go to a place where whether coffee is available or not, but Wi-Fi needs to be
Wi-Fi should
available.
be.
Yeah.
So definitely I think Wi-Fi should be a necessity, and it's actually become one since we have been dependent on this for a really long time now. I think it's high time we accept it. Right.
Yes.
And basically, I just want to say that 2008 was the time where we witnessed a financial slowdown. Things were not moving smooth. That was the time, I think, when recession was happening at the same time. 2008 2011 time I'm talking about, sir.
Yeah.
And that was the time, I think, where digital picked up even more further when it came to shifting your business from yellow pages magazines to digital and getting leads. That was the time when people were understanding the importance of this even more, and transforming, evolving into this, and taking this as a serious platform, as perspective in, through a growth perspective.
Yeah. Now maybe same machine maker and Pooja making a presentation after 4 or 5 years, you will say that 2022 due to the Ukraine-Russia war, cryptocurrencies and digital currencies because US doesn't want to accept rubles, or Russia doesn't want to accept dollars. This is what is happening. I always tell that the world is changing now. The world want to work with friends. They want to work with frenemies. Frenemies means acceptable enemies.
Right.
And, yeah, and
I like
world doesn't want to
lingo.
work with enemies.
You're a true digital person, sir. You're very familiar with all the lingos. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I can relate to you very much.
Yes.
Right, so you're very right when you say that they want to work with friends, they want to work with frenemies, because I think it has become easier to do so.
Yes.
Right.
And this kind of polarization is happening, and that's where the digital platforms are going to do a lot of help for the industry.
I think because there is not a like a set guideline to follow when you have to work with frenemies or when you have to work with friends. It's just a creative flow of ideas that come in, that are taken into.
See, it's basically the situation, the invention they call the mother of necessity.
Right.
That is what what you said is right. In 2008, when financial slowdown, when that's where the digital technology took a lead. The same way, if you look at last 2 years during the COVID, the digital usage has increased. So always, when there is, something else happening, or there is an, real necessity. So that's where the, uprise will take place.
Right. So there was also issue faced after, like these traditional platforms caused a decrease in the ROIs. So, there was a different challenge that was faced altogether, which was which digital platforms should a person be investing upon? I mean, that is something that I would like you to talk about a little more when, because that was a time when everybody was wanting to invest somewhere down the line, right? They were trying to secure their assets. Something was happening when they want, when they want to like invest in a platform like digital platforms. Facebook had taken a rise by 2008.
But more than that, which digital platform, but I would say that, where to start. Coming from an industry, looking at which area to start digitalization,
right?
Which period to start digitalization. I think this comes a big question mark. But more than that, digital medias, and in terms of the cost point of view, I think that's not the big key issue for companies, because anyway, digital media is always much lesser in terms of price cost compared to print media or compared to other medias. So I think by and large, digital platforms, digital media is being accepted for the industry. But only thing is where to start, how to start, which place to start. I think which time to start. I think that's where the question comes.
Right. So then I'll be moving ahead to the acceleration that we got basically due to the global pandemic that we've all faced through this 1.5 year of sitting at home, mostly trying to get our work done, depending more and more on the digital platforms that there are. Social media being one of the biggest platform that we have depended on, be it Instagram, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it is, in any form, come what may. We have all done it through our time at home. And I think I feel like that was the time when everybody was, even though we couldn't online shop, like in certain places, it was not getting delivered. These products were not getting delivered, right? And at the same time, we knew this, we were still going on these platforms as a way of, hope, where we could keep ourselves engaged into some sort of activity, even though it was not something that was beneficial to us in sorts of ways, but it did definitely benefit to a lot of companies throughout. What is your take on this?
Sorry, I was on mute. What I was telling is that in the beginning of my speech itself, I said that this COVID has, had some positive imprints, especially for the digitalization and usage of social media. So it has definitely helped and it has accelerated. And accelerated means, if you ask me in terms of percentage, I would say somewhere doubled. In the last 1.5, 2 years, the numbers have doubled in terms of reach.
Right. Plus, at the same time, we all went to, having normal conference meetings to virtual meetings suddenly. Attending webinars, doing virtual meetings from home. And that was just change in, like companies had shifted to, completely shifted, I think, their technology infrastructure altogether, causing like a very effective way of collaboration when it came to marketing and also expansion at the same time.
Yeah, it went to the extent of calling webinar phobia.
Yeah, webinar phobia. You're right, sir. So were you also a part of, attending these conferences, attending these webinars, being a part of this work from home culture where it was a 9 o'clock conference call and then get to work?
I would say no escape. I could not escape.
Definitely. I think a lot of us were looking for an escape.
Yes, but only thing is, it had some comfort level that, you are in a cozy zone. You're working from home, so that, you can ask for coffee. You can, that kind of certain comforts were available. But other than that, in fact, I would say that this COVID times we worked more than working from office.
Right. It did increase a lot of productivity at the same time. I mean, like you said, maybe the reason behind it was because we were in an environment that is friendly to us.
And second is you saved the travel time. So everybody commutes about average 1 hour, especially in Mumbai. Especially in Mumbai, they travel about 2 hours one way. So that 2 hours one way was productively used.
Right. I think that is just a really good way of productivity. I think if a lot of people will want to still remain to be in a position where it is work from home, where it is, having work on these digital platforms and getting work done, having business come to them at the comfort of their home. Who wouldn't like that?
Yes.
Right. Also, there is a fact that I've included that, like you said, there was like a very big hike after this pandemic in the usage of these platforms. So that's what I've, tried to bring out, that when I found out that over half of the world's population was completely on these social media platforms over the pandemic. And the remaining half of it are, people who are unable to understand these forms. But if they could, they would definitely be a part of this. This would be a complete new revolution altogether.
Yes, true.
So, please give me your take on this.
Yeah, because one of the point which I addressed in my keynote speech was the digital marketing.
Right.
How much has been done today. It's more than 50%.
Right.
And see, overall is 40% is digital marketing. But if you look at the radio, if you look at the TV, if you look at the OTT platforms, media, there also digital is available. So that means global average overall on digital media advertising and marketing is more than 50% today.
Right. Definitely. With the campaigns that are going on, be it paid, be it organic, we're all looking out, trying to go in the right directions, trying to figure out all these algorithms that are there in order to get and reach, these focused people that we want to reach to.
Yes, and this is just not for business or industry or companies. This is also for governments. This is also for people. Today, government change is happening only through a digital media.
Right. So can you please elaborate when you say the government change is happening through digital media?
Like, for example, government, we can keep it in two things. One is if government has to be thrown, a new government has to come. Politics, that's where, a lot of digital media is used. This is one side of a point. The other side is when government is coming out with new schemes, new benefits, like, for example, health benefits, insurance policies. So
right.
The only way is, which can reach faster, which can, not only just reach faster, it's not just the message spreading, it's also, fulfilling the form, doing the registration formalities. The only way is, digital mode, the government, like, for example, if Prime Minister is coming out with the some Yojana, then, the only way is, the entire people throughout the country, right from east to west or north to south, they can all get connected and, they can use the digital apps and they can register themselves. So that's where I'm saying that, today even governments are using this.
Correct. I think that's a very effective way, though, to it. That's actually effective and smart is what I'd like to say, because the mass is on digital now. Why not target digital then? Why not?
When you can, do a digital aarti, or when you can, visit a temple on a digital mode. So
Right.
that's the real, see, what the tradition of, going to a temple or mosque or a church was, completely, I'm talking for a, very cultured and very, sentimental people. But even if they are ready to accept to see a digital platform, that
Right.
is where the revolution, the change has happened during this global pandemic.
Right. Correct. So I'll move forward from this to
Yeah.
our digital interdependency. Like I have been saying, we live in an era where we are very dependent on all kinds of digital platforms. And that is how we know the world. For a generation which came up and was brought up in a digital era where, in the 2000s when it was taking a hike, we know the world as a place where, we can just go up to these platforms and look for something that we need, or we can rely on this for, be it anything. And it does come with a lot of opportunities at the same time. It is not just that there is just information, or there are just different, for example, there are not just memes, there are a lot of endless opportunities being a part of it currently. And I think we're just yet to realize to, take up these opportunities and make something productive out of it, make it productive and make it useful for our own selves or for anybody else that there is.
Yes, the digital interdependence, what you said is right. It is not just for business, but it's more for feedback. It's more for communication.
Right?
Yeah, that's where, this interaction between, like, today we are doing a webinar, but we can also discuss with the audience. So,
Right.
yeah, that's the way it is.
Correct. So I'll tell you a very fun fact. Me being from the digital era, me being a child that was raised in these 2000s when it was taking a hike, me being a millennial, I really had no clue. And me being very dependent on Google like everybody else is, I really didn't know that 1998 was when Google saw its birth.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I use it as a daily ritual. How many of us can live today and say they don't use Google on a daily basis? I cannot count one. Right. At least
Until an alternate comes.
Until an alternate comes, definitely.
Yeah.
And that will be a competition, sir. That is
Yeah.
a whole
Yeah.
ball game altogether.
Yeah.
But I really didn't know when, for a person who uses it daily for at least 100 times a day, I didn't know that it was, it first came out in 1998, and it gives out so many opportunities. We have been tremendously dependent on it for communication, like you said, expansion purposes as well, doing these campaigns that bring in these leads, like we're talking about lead generation, bringing in these leads by doing certain campaigns, having to use the right, like I was talking about, having to focus on the right audience.
True.
That's something that we can. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
if you ask a kid, 50 years ago, where you get the milk, the kid can say it's from the cow.
Right.
But if you ask a kid, which is 25, 30 years old, during those days, it will say it is from the fridge.
Right.
But if you ask a kid now, it will say it is coming from big basket.
Right. Definitely.
That's the change.
That's the change. Very well put. So it has become a way to market your products very well in order to get the right audience attracted to your particular product.
Yeah.
There are very creative ways that are used. There are very creative ideas that are implemented at the same time, and not just laid out. They're also implemented at the same time, is why a kid now can tell you that Big Basket is where the milk comes from.
Yes.
That's the point that I've covered, basically. Since internet has become a pool of information. It's like an ocean you put in one bucket of color, it's going to disappear.
True.
Right? It's, you have to focus on the right techniques, right keywords like I've used here. You have to use the particular set to just focus. Now if I am going to be selling say a mobile phone, I cannot approach kids. I have to approach people above the age of 15, or just target it in the right way so I get the right reach. I get the right relevancy, I get the right outcome, I get the right leads, and I can convert.
True. It's
Right.
a psychology whom you should address.
Right. I cannot be approaching kids who are third grade kids, fourth grade kids. I cannot be doing that. That is not my audience. So this is also a very key factor that plays on when we say these techniques that should be implemented. Digital market is very wide, but using it for your own benefit by using the right techniques is also a trick, is also a skill that comes along. I like your expertise on this.
Yes, you have to keep add value to yourselves,
Right.
because it always pays back. Doesn't matter belong to which era or which period, but keep adding values, because it pays back. And take calculated risk, then either you win or you learn.
Right.
So that's the way it is. So digital is the current trend. So that's where I say the entire organization, management, they should focus more on usage of digital.
Right. Like you said, there is always win some, learn some. There is nothing losing here. It
Yes.
is always evolving. It is always, we're always learning something new when it comes to these platforms. There is no stopping at this.
True.
Right. I'll just move forward to, the B2B market that basically plays a very crucial role for us today. I mean, the main purpose of it is to basically have our brand introduced to a lot of businesses that are there, in order to benefit us in certain ways where, we're both in a win-win situation. That is what B2B is. Both parties should be at a win-win situation.
Yes.
What do you think about, B2B playing like a role, like a very crucial role, I think?
I think that's what I discussed about the companies like First Cry or Beardo or Wakefit or Boat or Nokia, Carrot Lane. That's another company. Zivane, Lenskart. Lenskart is also another company which made a good success. Right. So that they have all made usage of these platforms, right. And they have used LinkedIn. They have used Facebook. This kind of tools, for doing social media promotion.
Right. Like, sir, you said LinkedIn is also one. I think since LinkedIn has come into existence, it was not, adopted as it is right now. Earlier, it did take a little bit of time for us to get a hold of LinkedIn, get a hold of understanding of what it basically does and how we can have our benefits come from that place. Or right now it is just rated one by marketers all around as a very effective tool for B2B leads. And not just leads, there are people who apply jobs from there. There is a section now where you can find jobs, you can apply them. People are getting into good places. I had actually read a story once where there was this girl who had it was not about LinkedIn, but it was Instagram specific, where a girl had just put her portfolio on Instagram, as in she had put a very nice layout in a grid. And she was looking for a job for a few months, and she was being rejected and wasn't being able to get one. And she put that on Facebook, and it just people recognized it, made it very popular. At the same time, she got recognition for her work at the same time, and also backed a job for herself from a platform. So
Yes,
it's not just
yeah.
to be limited.
Yeah, I'm not in Instagram or in Facebook, so I cannot comment more. But
Right.
definitely, I am in LinkedIn for last 7-8 years,
Right.
and which has helped a lot in terms of getting connections,
Right.
and it enriches our life. That's
Right.
simple way I would like to put it. Enriches our life, not just for business, not just for making friends, but it's even more than that.
Right, definitely. You get to know a lot about people that work in your industry. It's a good way to network. It's a good way to communicate. It's a good way to exchange information with experts that are there, that belong to your same industry, who have valuable information that you might not have. It's always good to exchange information. It's always good to know what's happening in and around your own industry. That is how the outcomes, that is how eventually it is going to evolve, it is going to move forward, rather than being stuck at one place.
Yeah, being in an information world, so you need to be always updated with information. I think that's the key.
Definitely, it is the key, sir, because since you don't want to be in a situation where you are something about your industry is being spoken and you're very unaware about it. It is something you are open to. You should be open to it, gaining this information, this specific information. And LinkedIn has become a really it's become a ritual for most of us, who first come and do that, first come and open and see, and not just business wise, but also information wise, where you get to know a lot of news also from LinkedIn.
Yes, a
And
lot of
not just industry news.
Yeah, a lot of business activities.
Right.
A lot of new products coming in,
New products.
and success stories. I think that makes more interesting, and it becomes a learning curve for many.
Right. Also, Facebook is one such platform. Since Facebook exists for such a long time, it has gained so much in size and user base over the years. I mean, there was a time when we were joining Facebook just because everybody else was, and we wanted to be the cool and hip kids. But it's no more like that.
Okay.
I mean, it's only concentrated on, not only concentrated, but also it is concentrated on, bringing business in certain ways. Communication, making friends, that comes along with it. Business just doesn't come. You have to communicate, you have to network, you have to explore. And
True.
that is the basics of having to do certain type of activities over there. It's campaigns that you can do. You again, here in the campaigns, you have the option that Facebook is provided to do focused marketing. It just lets you prioritize the community of people that you want to target. That is, I think, very essential when it comes to B2B. Right. And yeah. Yes, so
We
you're
can,
saying something?
no, we can move to the next. Yeah.
Right. So I've just added a few tools that have proven to be very beneficial when it comes to B2B, which is CRM.
Yes.
Email marketing is also an effective way. HubSpot is one. It basically lets you organize your leads.
Yes, I think this is where the funneling exercise can take place.
Right.
And qualifying the leads.
Right.
And this can be an asset to any organization.
Right. So this is what I had in mind. I'll just stop sharing my screen. So moving forward to you, sir, what else do you have to add on to?
No, I said that the leaders have to adapt in an industry.
Right.
I think that's where the key, in terms of change, because most of the leaders are still in the physical era.
Right.
Looking at the document, I know, some of my, old bosses, whatever it is, they want everything in paper. That's the way it is, physical era. So, that's where the shift has to take place. And second is, there are a lot of good usage and there are a lot of success stories. We also need to, we talk of Satya Nadella, we talk of, Microsoft MD, or we talk of, Indians doing very well in abroad or in particularly in the US. They have all, very efficiently used the digital media platforms.
Right.
So that should not be ignored. We only look at, how much they earn, or, where they are or what position they are. I think it's not just that, we also need to see what kind of tools they have used, how they have come to these positions, how they have been holding these positions. So if you look at the digital platforms and digital usage has been the highest in order for them. So I strongly recommend the industries to use the digital techniques and funneling exercise for B2B business. Maybe Hari has come. I think he knows more. I initially I said I am not a domain expert. Sorry, I'm not a digital expert, but I'm a domain expert. So shifted to digital.
Now, see, I will tell you one thing. Being a domain expert, I would like to tell you the kind of work you done during the COVID was actually phenomenal. You see, you were. See, I know that you were very instrumental in building Node for the last couple of years. I have seen you. You built 2-3 factories in one place, and you see the kind of communication you put out over decades. And the last 2 years during the pandemic, how you take it to the world through sitting at your home or sitting at your office is something, the transformation which happened. This COVID, we have a lot of limitations. Now also we are getting some news that, in Delhi, there is some spike happening. People are a little bit afraid. But the kind of acceleration COVID done to our business is fabulous.
See, always the captain, when there is a crisis, he has to rise to the level. So that's what I have done my job. I have done my duty during the COVID period. I know that, many of my directors were not ready to come to office. I have to put a salary. Some people were not ready to come. I did not have a police pass or a permission. I said, I will go to the office, and I'm staying nearest to the office. I always believe the less commuting you do, you are doing more productive work. It's a very simple philosophy. You do less commuting, but you do a more productive for the job. So it was used, during the COVID period. And like what I said, the captain of the ship has to, when there is a crisis, that's where, he has to demonstrate his experience, his qualities.
So eventually, even when we are talking about the today's topic, what Pooja very effectively shared the details, it is all about how you can use the platforms which are available in front of you collaboratively to get the advantage. So that's what we are talking about. You don't have to create a new social media platform. You don't have to create a new networking platform. COVID also helped us to realize what is our strength. We know we can write content, we can communicate. That's what we are doing for years. And second thing, through that, we create this kind of network. For example, I can reach out to you very faster because one or the other way we are contacting for a very long time, right? We know personally because at one point of you came and shared some information about us. We took that, we started communicating it to others. So we became a platform. Many people were there. Knowingly or unknowingly, what happened? The network expanded over time. And earlier, through the traditional world, it was very difficult to bring all those people at one place. Time, everything is an issue. With the collaborative tools, what we are going to talk about WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a menace. I agree. But I would like to tell you a small example. With Philips Machine Tools, during March, we done a digital campaign where we brought some incredible women who were using some of their products or something like. They were into machining. Their purpose was not to sell them, but they want to bring out these stories of some incredible women. So we did that. I'm just telling you this as an example. Yeah. So we did one story of this Nasik based, the AMT group, Ahire Machine Tools. Abhilasha Ahire Savan, very wonderful lady, doing some great job. So the story was there, and I am also part of global engineering group, which is started by Sanjay Kamitkar, where I seen a particular person was coming and posting one creative, the social media creative about Ahire machine tools.
Okay.
So I understood he is a salesperson, right? So I got a contact and just personally, privately, I inboxed him, told I recently I wrote one story of your director, Abhilasha, and this is the link. So I thought, okay, more people should see. Writing a story is just the start, but taking it to the hundreds of people is what makes our work more valuable to customers. Very surprisingly, I am telling you, this particular gentleman who are very active in the group told that I am the father of Abhilasha. He was the founder who is very active in a WhatsApp group where all the places will be, he will not be knowing. So this is what I'm telling you. This person invited me. After that, I met him in this Harko Takumi open house. He invited before 10 days. I was there in his factory. I'm telling you, what a passion this person is having. He's 65 plus years, and he is actually will. I need to learn a lot from him. His energy is too much. So he is using it collaboratively. He's trying to reach out, connect. I'm telling you, last 2 days, I was there in Bangalore. I never got time to breathe. My breakfast with customer, lunch with customer, dinner with customer. And in the night, I was running yesterday to the airport. I was very happy.
And I was seeing the post that, including government organizations, quasi-government organizations, private organizations. So when you talk of that 65-year person, always you should note that, you might call people retired, but there are some people retired, but not tired.
True. But he's not retired. He's not retired. Now I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to pass on all those, experiences, exposures, the intelligence. We are talking about artificial intelligence. Have you ever thought about the intelligence humans carry over years? So this is what we are missing. And somewhere I'm telling you, these digital channels help us to communicate each other. I met several incredible people during these last 2 days. So there is Mr. Mohandas from Spar Electronics, wonderful story. There is Mr. Raghu, there is Mr. Srinath. I'm telling you, again, I would like to do a different session with him. Why? Because 25 years he worked with multinational. So
you can write a story now, Bangalore Files.
I can do Bangalore Files. But it should be a hit, otherwise I will not write,
Yeah, so, like Kashmir Files, London Files, now Bangalore Files.
Yeah. So this particular person, after almost 25 years working in the top positions, now what he's trying to do is he's trying to work with the SMEs. Indian SMEs, manufacturing SMEs. So first people think it is very easy, but this is two different dynamics. So what I'm telling you is our job is to bring people together and discuss, transfer this knowledge. And this is what the digital thing is doing. Now, today, if we are able to do this, friends, whoever is listening right now with us, what I'm telling you, it is possible for you also. Expanding your network through digital channels are one of the easiest way. Only one thing is you need to spend some time. You need to have some people, and you do. And if you need any support in that, to expand your network, I am there. Pooja is there. She's very dynamic. I'm so happy. Sharvari is there. And one more thing I would like to tell you all. Now we have our chief guest today, Mr. Shekhar, and you must be knowing that he's having decades of experience working with the industry. He is an industry domain expert, and he is available today to give advice to budding companies in different ways. He is also putting, he's told he's not going to get any time retired because he's not tired.
Yes,
he's not tired. So this is an opportunity for you people to come, get connected with Mr. Muthushekar. You can go to LinkedIn, just check up. He's a person, and as we approach him anytime, he never tell no. He finds out a time to come and talk to us, not only with us. Many media people go to him. And he very happily goes and talk to these people because that is something, the passion, what he bring into the industry, giving back to the society. This is what we want the people to take up, increase your network, And we will be able to help you with the communication, the content. And that is what we love to do, the passion. So this is what I want to tell you, sir. And we are just learning from you. We are learning from everyone outside there.
Thank you. I think the best learning I had is Igikaki from Japan. You start the day with passion. So whatever you do it, doesn't matter whether it's a routine job or whether it's a small job, what you're doing. But if you do it with very passionate, it will work. And thanks Hari and Mission Maker and Pooja for having me here. And what Hari said is right. I would be happy to support startup companies, MSMEs, not on a business kind of a motive, but more of a learning point of view or educating point of view, so that that Atmanirbhar and India shines. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for being a part here today, and giving so much of your time, and telling us about so much information that you have and sharing with us. It was great to have you, and I've learned so much from you and whatever you've spoken today with us.
Learning is always both sides. It's never one side.
Always open to learning.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for the viewers, and I hope to see you again.
So to viewers, I would like to say that if you have any queries, you can raise your questions over here so that our expert will answer your questions. If any panelists or attendees have any questions, they can raise their questions.
Or you can also send us an email. I just put the our email ID in the chat box. As the time, we have already crossed our time, Sharvari. So we will request everyone to just send a mail, and please send your feedback, how you like this session. If you would like to, if you have any points for us to improve ourselves, we are open to it. As Pooja was telling, it is all about a learning curve, what we do. So please share. Any questions are there, please share. We will be sending the same to our keynote speaker, our chief guest, and we will get a reply from him. And if anyone wants to reach out to Mr. Muthusekhar, as I told you, you can go to LinkedIn, you can connect him over there. Otherwise, you send an email to us at hari@themachinemaker.com or at info@themachinemaker.com. We will reach you back. Over to you, Sharvari.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Would like to thank Mr. Muthusekhar sir for their really special timing. We appreciate you coming on our platform and sharing your thoughts with us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you.
I would also like to thank all the team members. So please.
So thank you, participants, for being part of this. And till we come up with the next event, see you. Bye-bye.